Hey guys, welcome back to some more chess, some more instructive gameplay, and let me just start off by saying that my apologies for not showing up earlier. It's been a while since I've recorded, and that's because I've been on a really long holidays, and then after that I had some tournaments to play, so I've been training for that. So stay posted for some Road to National Master, which I shall be releasing soon. So without further ado, let's jump straight into another game. And I was thinking that if we get the white pieces, I will play the Scotch Gambit. Okay, we get the white pieces, so let's start off with e4. And unfortunately, we do not get the normal, typical e5, which we'd like to see. We see instead this d6 move. And you know what they say, whenever they allow the full center, we take the full center. So let's start off by doing that. And here we're just going to play very simple, very logical developing moves here. Nothing special. We're going to start off by playing knight c3, just defending this pawn here. Now, if they were to play the move g6 and bishop g7, I would consider playing something like f4 and then knight f3, gaining even more space and taking super good care of this e5 square from all my pawns and pieces. But g6 didn't come. Let's just continue developing naturally with knight to f3. And this seems like a very good position already. Okay, so c6. Does it have some sort of threat that black can rely on? Not really, so let's just continue developing naturally. I think bishop d3 is good. I'm not really a fan of bishop to c4 because if bishop c4, then maybe we get hit by these type of ideas. And yeah, this could be a possibility. And just to avoid this kind of stuff, we'll just play bishop to d3 with the idea that in the future we can play some sort of e5 push. And we're looking at this h7 square, which is really nice in some tactical sequences. So, okay, queen c7, just natural move. Maybe preparing to play e5, as if this were a King's Indian, which it is not exactly. So let's just castle here. I think castling is a really fine move here. And we'll see how he continues. Okay, so this is actually really aggressive. It's always good to calculate, even though there may not be anything there, but let's just calculate, because this is kind of a strange move, and his king isn't castled. We can soon start looking to attack, so let's just calculate something really quickly. It may look silly, but okay, bishop take, pawn take, knight takes, hit the queen. Where does the queen go? Queen b6 looks like a good move, hitting the knight, and looking at this pawn. Yeah, there's nothing there for white. If knight take, pawn take, bishop take, knight is pinned, but not much more can be achieved, so we're not ready yet. It's a good exercise to do that, because if there is a tactic, then it's good to keep an open eye out. Okay, well, I don't like the way he's expanding on this queen side. Do we need to stop him is the question. Now, I don't think we do. If b4, we can probably just move our knight back towards the center and we'll be okay. This pawn will not fall because it's defended. So yeah, I really don't think that this is really productive for black. So again, let's play another just very simple developing move. How about rook e1? Because his king isn't castled yet, and we've seen this as a common theme in many of these games where the opponent doesn't castle when they should, and that leads to them getting in some trouble. Okay, so now a very natural move, e5. Trying to close down the center, avoiding this e5 push, which looks very logical. And yeah, maybe this is actually gaining some strength now. We don't want to take, I don't think, because if we do take, then they just take back, right? And then there's not much there for us. If we push, it begs the question of what is this pawn doing, but then they push themselves, right? And then we've kind of closed down the center for nothing. We want the center to be as open as possible. That is important. So, okay, we can just follow up with a very simple move, I think. How about... Let's just start off with bishop to g5. Let's just start off with that and see how he reacts. Okay, and he's going for this, which I don't think is all that good for him because, okay, let's say I take here. Then if he knight takes, then I take here and I double his pawns, which is never a good idea for the side you want to castle. And if I take here, knight takes is the same story, and if pawn takes, then this pawn is hanging completely. It's already hanging. If we take here and if takes here, the same story. If takes here and queen takes, then it's still hanging because I've got two pieces attacking it. Moreover, I could just play this capture, hitting the queen, and where does your queen go? But then I think it would not be as good because let's say queen b6, yeah, sure, and then he may have some ideas of some c4 push in the future or something along these lines. So just to be super safe, let's play, and if takes push, we can take, and I think we can just play takes, bishop takes. Yeah, okay, actually I don't like that as much. Let's play capture here. Let's just capture here. Okay, and then the pawn is still hanging, bishop or knight. I think the best continuation would be to take with the... Let's not get into any crazy tactics. Let's just play very solid positional chess. So I'm gonna play bishop takes with the idea that this knight is now pinned, so this is not a defense anymore. Which means he's gonna have to play something along the lines of this in order to defend his knight. But what now if I play bishop to e3? Bishop e3, his queen would have to jump back, and I may have ideas of knight d5 in that case. We can maybe continue adding some pressure. I could consider going back and jumping in this knight after, but I think bishop to e3 is a very logical move here. Makes a lot of sense. And they should really castle soon. Of course not now because their queen is being hit, but soon they should definitely consider castling. I think that's really what they need to do in the next following moves. Okay, that's a natural move. What about if we play knight to d5, knight takes, and queen takes? Intentionally hanging the pawn on c2, but with major compensation for us because we're hitting the rook, which is actually hanging at the moment. Okay, so knight, knight, queen, bishop, let's say. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. We don't want to help him develop, that's the thing. How about an idea like this and this? Because this knight is pinned, and by playing this sort of idea here now, we are getting into the f5 square, where we can bring our pieces to the king side, and also we're hitting this very weak bishop, and also this pawn, which is a backwards pawn, and if we capture this pawn, then we're just going to be up a pawn. Okay, well that move does hit our bishop, it does hit our knights, but unfortunately it doesn't work out for them because we can just capture this knight, which is really unfortunate. They hung a piece. But hey, this can happen sometimes, and now our knight, which seemed to be quite silly, is actually threatening this, but we're also threatening first and foremost just a quick checkmate like this. So I think this is the move here to play. Or better yet, we need to think of their resources. What will they play in response? They could either, after bishop h6, sack the rook, like this, or they can play bishop to f6. So in order to stop bishop f6, we can play something first like knight d5 now. And knight d5 hits the queen, hits the bishop, takes away this square for them. And if the knight jumps in here, then we can probably just play, well, the most simple continuation would be like queen takes g7 desperado, and then we take the queen and hit everything. Let's actually start off with this, however. We're gonna play bishop h6, and if they go bishop f6 now, we're gonna play knight d5, with the idea that we are hitting this this queen, we're hitting this f6 square, and it should be good. Should be golden here. Okay, knight d5, as calculated. Queen d8 is a very good response here because it keeps control over the f6 square. Yeah, that's very good. And now I'm thinking you can probably just take this, no? Because if take, knight f5, how do you stop mate? It's not really clear, so let's take here with this idea. You can't go queen f6. Yeah, and that doesn't stop checkmate, unfortunately. So good game to my opponent. Let's take a look at the analysis. And again, I can't stress this enough. I'm not really looking to play the top engine move every single move. I could try and do that, but I think it's much simpler if I just play something along the lines of what the actual rating range would be, because that way you guys can find the moves too, and it's not anything that's like out of this world for you to find. So I think knight f3 many people would play. Again, I'm always thinking of what people would play. I think bishop to d3 is a very natural developing move people would play. Queen c7, castles, and then this is already strange. You guys can see how the engine is already liking white quite a significant amount here, and the move they had in mind was e5. So e5, e5, pawn take, knight take. Maybe the idea was bishop to f4, kind of pinning that and sticking it all together, which makes lots of sense. Again, like I said, Black is really behind in development and should really castle quickly, so it makes a lot of sense to open up the position. And by playing rook e1, they get the chance to close it down, but it's still very advantageous here for White because White is just clearly up in development. It's +1 still, so bishop g5, it drops a bit, and then here it shoots up because this was just a complete blunder of the pawn on b5. And the engine is recommending d takes e5 actually. And this move drops the advantage quite a significant amount. Let's look at this. Why would this be better? Takes, takes, bishop take, and then we take with check. If they block, knight d5, knight takes, bishop takes, queen takes, knight takes, queen c7, and then we take. So yeah, we have just completely bulldozed the position, and this king has nowhere safe to run. You'd have to long castle in this position, but would you ever want a long castle with no pawns protecting your king? Definitely not. So this would already be, this is already +6. But this move is also very strong. Queen takes, bishop takes, and then our bishop came back hitting the queen was not actually the best engine move, but knight h4 is the best engine move, and this idea of jumping into f5 is really strong now. They should have played g6 to kind of stop it. But the problem with g6 is that, okay, you stop the knight from getting in, but at what cost, you know? The cost is now this bishop gets in, and black can never castle. So this is a very important move you guys should consider as well in your games. And the mental way to get around to finding these moves is just recognizing that you have 3 goals in the opening, which is dominating the center, developing your minor pieces, and castling. And the same way you want to do those 3 things, you want to stop your opponent from doing them. So if you play bishop h6, he can't castle, and that's a fundamental principle he can't execute. And if you can't execute that, tactics will arise. Look at this bishop hitting this knight. Look at this piece going to get in here at some point. Look at this queen about to reroute and bulldoze the position. Maybe even f4 ideas in some positions. Probably not this because, well, maybe actually. But you've got many ideas, many attacking ideas that can come into play here, and it's important to keep the king here in the center so that he can't run away and you can successfully attack him. So this would be a very good line. Knight g4 unfortunately just hangs the piece, and we take it. He plays good defense. Actually, the engine prefers knight f5 first. So knight f5, bishop here with the idea that we can sacrifice again. And if you take bishop h6 is mate, we did it a little bit different. We played bishop first and then bishop f6, knight d5, queen d8, bishop takes, and we just did it in a different move order. Now the knight comes and pins. Yeah, unfortunately that doesn't defend. Was there a move that defends? No, the engine is giving queen g5, which hangs the queen, so it's unstoppable checkmate. And we just checkmate here. So that was today's game. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. Leave a comments in the comment section if you did. Give me a hell yeah if you guys are learning stuff and if you guys are enjoying this series. And yeah, stay tuned for a lot more content, which I'll be posting a lot more frequently now. Stay tuned for that. See you guys. Bye.